Kenyan beast coming to you. When you hear the word reparations, what comes to your mind?
So when I hear about reparations, I have different ideology, because it's not about money or anything. Personally, when I hear about reparation, I want something to do like giving Africa back to Africans. Because even if you give out money, like the story of I think it's Italy or France, where they are giving $30,000, or so when the story about reparation, I want to hear about giving Africa back to Africans. Reparations to me means that they don't have to come between Africans decisions, or Africans, all of that. They don't have to come between us. So that's, for me, giving back Africa to Africans. Because when I talk about money, it's like we are begging them to give us what was lost and something like that. But that will not last for long. But when they stop their uh, their interaction to us, when they stop coming to Africa to exploit Africa, to take the resources of Africa, that means reparation to me. So for me, reparations is not about being paid amount of money, or being given back the gold they took, or being given back everything they took. No, they can stay with that. They can have that forever. But leave us alone. Let us be free. The freedom is what Africans need, is what Black people need. The freedom for us to make decisions, the decisions for the freedom for us to choose our own people during election, the decision for us to to control our own resources. That's reparation for me. Because if we talk about being paid the amount, some amount of money, okay, you will pay me the amount of money, but you are still exploiting me. So it doesn't mean a lot. It's just you are giving something to me and you will take it back. So reparation to me is somehow deeper. It's deeper than just payment of money, or giving back the resources that you took, the gold, the what, or giving back the land you took. For me, is them to stop interfering with the matters of Africa, is to leave Africa to decide for themselves. Because even now we have African Union, but AU is still being is like a vehicle that is carrying them, So I just want a day when we as African countries will start making our own decision. Now that's reparation to me. That will be the biggest reparation ever. Leave along these all payments and everything. Because first of all, when we are in the streets protesting about reparation, because last time when Jamaicans were on the street, when the Prince of England was there, so they were protesting about reparation. It's like they are going to their panels and discussing as Black people that we are not civilized, that any small thing we are going to the road, any small things we are protesting. We don't want to be seen as uncivilized people. We don't want to be seen as people of third class. We don't want to be seen as beggars. We don't want to be seen as people who are going to the corridors of IMF begging for money. We want Africa back for Africans. That's the biggest reparation for me. Asking this question, who should be paid? Is it descendants? Is it African Americans? Is it people from Caribbean?
Yeah, and that is the big question. Who should be paid? Who should be paid? Yeah.
Because as we know, there's a lot of things going in Africa, because nothing in Africa ends with in a polite way, with just a civilized way. Even if it's election, there's some glitches. Anything, there's some glitches. In a family, people are sharing land, some glitches. Everywhere in Africa, we have glitches everywhere. So we may protest and say that we need to be paid this reparation. And then the colonizer will say, okay, here we got to the reparation. And the reparations, maybe they are being paid, money is coming to maybe to the government. So The government will channel the money to the local government so that the people can be paid. Okay, let me tell you something for free. Even if we cannot agree, both of us, but Africa is full of corruption. And this was the thing that was installed to us. It's like a software that was installed to us since colonization. So corruption is something that's it's recurring. So even if this reparation is given in monetary way or it's given in material way, it is hard for it to be shared to the people that's supposed to be. Let me tell you an example of Kenya. In Kenya, we have this money, is called old people money, the money that old people are being given. But the people who are eating this money are 31 years old, 28 years old. It's not going to the old people because, yeah, because there's a way we have a corruption that it's in most of the African countries. So this reparation, where should it be paid, to whom, and which way will they use, or which format will they use to pay? And that's why from my first statement I said it. I'm not looking for reparation just for the paying the people who, the deceased people who are on these things, but I am looking reparation in a way of giving freedom to Africans, stop them to stop interfering with African matters so that we can run our Africa by ourselves, giving back Africa to Africans. That will be the start of a better way of reparation. But if we say we are paying people, okay, maybe my great grandfather was maybe his leg was chopped some days back during colonization. I need this money too because I'm one of them, because my family was deceased. But how will we know that this money will go to the right people? Now, here in Kenya, we have those people who fought for independence. We have the like of Dedan Kimathi, the likes of Mekatilili Wamenza, the people who went to the forest and fought for independence of Kenya. But the person who was given the power of Kenya did not go in the forest. He went somewhere in prison, was prisoned like 1 year, and the white people were there telling him, when you go back, you just do this, give land to your people, and then we will have the system. So even right now, the people who fought for independence in Kenya, they are supposed to be given some amount of money, but that money is not going for them. So tell me, will reparation go to the people who's supposed to go to? If the government is not taking care of the people, the widows of those men who fought for independence, if the government is not looking for them, is not taking good care for them, that means if this reparation is paid in monetary or in materials, it will not go to the right people. So I'm looking at reparation not for just monetary. For me, I see that is like begging, and I don't want to go in that direction. The direction I want to go in a direction of African countries to restore themselves, to restart themselves, to reboot themselves, and to make sure that Africa is for Africans. Our resources is ours. The time I will see my country, the time I will see my president is not a puppet to such country or to one Western country. That is a good reparation for me. That is a good reparation for me. When I see a president from Ghana, from Nigeria, is not a puppet, is not being controlled like a robot. When he is making decisions of his own countries, Africans, people of the countries, the ministers of the countries will make the law of the country themselves without interference of the white supremacy. That's the best reparation for me. I'm not looking reparation like being paid some amount of money, because as my brother Anago Osho had said, it will be just another chaos.
Yeah. Well, I always, I always say, Kenyan Beast, this guy need to be the president of I think he'll do a better job than Ruto. But coming to the Black Geo, it's the question. Well, we all are coming to the agreement that reparation is more than money. But I think not I think, but the Black Geo just mentioned our land, our water. These are things that should be given back. I think Julius Malema always speak about the land, taking back the land and all of these things. That is a form of reparation. So you can go ahead and speak on that.
Okay. First of all, I want to speak about something that is currently happening. I think you all are familiar with the Pala scandal of South Africa. This was the money that was given to the people because of Corona, but it never went to them. Now, if we talk about something big like reparation, first of all, we are starting with making our country clean. If a president of a certain country like South Africa could hide money that was given by World Health Organization because of Corona, the Pala scandal, the president himself was involved. So when we talk about the reparation, are we sure it will come to the people? Now, let me go to the issue of land. When I talk about the issue of land, giving land to the people, let me tell you example with the Kenyan, the first president of Kenya, Jomo Kenyatta, who we all think is a hero of Kenya, but personally, I think he's the father of sellout. When the colonizer gave the country to him, the first thing he did, because some of the land were given back to him so that he can give back to the people. The first thing he did with the land, he gave the land to his relative and he gave the land to his close friends. So the people who were supposed to get the land legally did not get the land. They were told, now we have another law, you must purchase back the land. So yes, some things like land should be given back as a way of reparation. But first of all, we must start with clearing our countries. We must start with clearing corruptions in our country. We must start with putting leaders who have the interest of the people at heart. We should not keep politicians at the power, as I say always, so that because if this land, because here, for example, here in Nairobi or in Kenya, we have white settlers too who have these large tracts of land. So they will decide, okay, these large tracts of land, let us give back to the people of Kenya. So we do what? Let us give to the government. So the government should give to the people. Now, do you want to tell me when this land is being given to William Samoei Ruto, do you want to tell me he will give back to the people? Do you want to tell me he'll give back to the people this land? He won't give it back because it's a lot. It's a lot. First of all, for us, I'll give an example. An example like just your house, your home, there where you are, your home. Maybe you are fighting for land, you and your siblings fighting for that that family land, and then the government come and took this land, and now it is time the government says that now I want to give back the land to you people because now you share to itself, and yet you have not settled the issues you have between yourself. You will be given back the land, and again you will start fighting for the land. So the one thing we need to do is to make sure that as a country, as Africans, as one of my brothers said here, we need to come together and work together and say that the people of Africa have suffered a lot.
But how do we do that? We talk about coming together, right? All for now is just well, I mean, what we are doing here, I see it as a step of coming together. But most of the time we talk about unity, but it's just words. How do we do that? I will give Leviticus the opportunity to respond to that. Leviticus, how do we do that? Kenyan Beast, go ahead. All right, Kenyan Beast, go ahead, and then I'll go to Leviticus.
Pardon?
You go ahead. You respond to the question, and then I'll come to Leviticus. Yeah.
So I'm saying, when we talk about cleansing. There's something in African culture we call cleansing. You go to the river, you cleanse the family, you cleanse. We call cleansing. We need to cleanse our countries. And if I'm not wrong, that's what maybe Ibrahim Traore is doing. If I'm not wrong, because I'm not in Burkina Faso, but from the things I'm hearing, and that's what Ibrahim Traore is doing, because he is cleansing the land of Burkinabe, and by cleansing the land of Burkinabe, each and everything will go back to the people of Burkinabe, being agriculture, being each and everything. So even if even if even if reparation, if it's money of land or land is given to Ibrahim Traore so that they can give to the people, I am 100% sure if Ibrahim Traore is whom we think or we hear he is, he will give it to the people. But if that reparation money or the land will be given to the Palapala scandal guy Ramaphosa, it will not go back to the people. If it will be given to William Ruto, it will not go back to the people. So we need first by starting to cleanse ourselves, and that's why we have people like Nagos, or we have people like Black Geo. We have Pan African trying to make people understand what we need to do, because right now we are still under the spell of the colonizer. We are still under the brainwashing system. We are still under the system. We are still just still under some sort of bondage that we need to break we need to break out of it. If we do that, if our countries are being cleansed, now we can start talking about reparation, giving back the land. We will be sure that the land will go to the right person, because the land cannot go back. I wonder how the family of my first president, Uhuru Kenyatta or Jomo Kenyatta, have large tracts of land, and yet they did not go to the forest to fight for independence. I wonder how the family of my second president, Daniel Arap Moi, has the large tracts of land, and yet he did not go to fight for independence. So what are you telling me? That reparation I will give you? Okay, for me, if this reparation has to be given, let us give it to the people, maybe because we know there is some people who are sold, or our cousins, our brothers who are sold to slavery. Okay, let us start with them. If it's just we need to give them, let us start with them. But if we are bringing that money here in African countries and or giving the land back, my friend, we are not ready for this discussion as Africans. We are not ready for these discussions as Ghanaians, as Nigerians. We are not ready. Of all the things we have talked about, and all the Pan-Africans who are here and the people who are listening, as Africans or as Black people, we let us don't focus on reparation much. Let us focus on liberating Africa. Let us focus on liberating our countries with political liberation, where we allow free and fair election. We allow Pan-African unity. We fight against corruption, decentralization of power, where we can make our decisions by ourselves. If it's Kenya, we make our own decisions in Kenya. Not that you are in Kenya and decision making is being made in Geneva, Switzerland, or decision making is being made in France, or is being made in Germany. So let us focus on liberation, political liberation, economic liberation, where we like what Ibrahim Traore is doing, encouraging entrepreneurship, investing in infrastructure. These are we liberate ourselves through social and cultural liberation. Like, we don't leave our culture. Like, a lot of countries are focusing in Western culture. Let us focus on cultural liberation. When we hold on our own culture, we will liberate ourselves. Because if we change everything and start doing as them, that's where we will be fully brainwashed. But let us focus in these things. Like, if a man leaves his or her own culture, it's done. If you leave your own culture, you are doomed. So let us liberate ourselves in cultural too. I have seen in Burkina Faso where a president Ibrahim Traore has told students to go with uniforms, the uniforms of students to be like in a cultural way, like you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what we are trying to do. Geopolitical liberation. We African nations should deal with their political issues by themselves. We don't want to see France interfering with issues of Africa. We don't want to see UK interfering with issues of political. We don't want to see USA interfering with the democracy of our countries. We don't want to see the corporations like IMF, the World Bank interfering with the political issues of our countries. This is what we call
yeah,
geopolitical liberation. We have to focus on those issues. We have to focus on, resources liberations. Like we cancel illegal mining. We control our own resources. Not to leave our resources to China, to Russia to run them. If we do that, we are not getting equality, because they are getting 90%, they are giving us 10% from our own resources, and that 10% they are giving us, the government is taking 9% and giving 1% to the people. So if you see these videos, like if you see videos in Africa where people are mining, local people are mining, how they are mining these things, it's like they're in a poverty way, but the people who are eating these things that we are mining, no, they are living good. There's no way, no any day, these local people from Congo, DRC, deep down the village will have good life, because the percentage that is getting to them is only 1%. So when we liberate Africa from geopolitical, when we liberate Africa from what we call economic liberation, when we liberate Africa from political liberation, when all these things is done, then we will talk about reparation. And that's what Ibrahim Traore is doing. He is liberating. He is liberating Burkina Faso through agriculture, through technology. That's why he's looking friends in Russia, because he have seen France is not a good friend. So he's trying another friend, because we all have to do with friends, even if we are capable. Yes, my brother Leviticus have said we are capable of doing anything, but we need to look for friends so that we can run these things well. So I will leave it here. I want Black Geo to, if he will
yeah.
conquer with
So
me,
yes,
saying that
Black Geo.
we need to liberate Africa first,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
political, economical, cultural. So after that, after all this liberation, that's where our countries, we will start talking about reparation, because we know these reparations will go to the right people. Look, a country like Mozambique, people are in the
yeah,
street because of political issues, and I am sure that those issues, there's some hands from geopolitical, some hands are there, some hands that are foreign hands are there, and that's why you see it's not free and fair election, and people are in the road. So if these people are in the road because we cannot manage the country's fight after election, can we manage uh, large tracts of land being given back to Africans? So we need to liberate Africa first before we start talking about reparation